Hello and welcome to the show, Real Talk. It is hard to bounce back from some of your toughest mistakes, but it's not impossible. I want you to meet Letitia Scott Jackson. She is a musician who got her life back on track after spending quite a bit of time behind bars. Now she's an author, a community activist, and a podcaster. Letitia, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I want to thank you right out the gate for being willing to be so honest about the mistakes that you made and decisions that you made,
right.
But your ability to move forward and beyond, because that's going to be a teachable moment for a lot of folks.
Yes, it is.
But I love that this starts with a little girl, a preacher's kid in Shreveport, Louisiana. Tell me more, PK.
Listen, I thank God for being here. I did grow up the preacher's kid. At the age of 12, started playing the piano. I was sleepwalking, and that's how I started playing the piano.
Wait, literally, you would get up out of your bed and go downstairs?
That happened only one time. And so I was sleepwalking. My mom would usually keep her music room locked because she was my dad's musician initially.
Okay.
And she didn't like us to play on the piano because she said we didn't do nothing but bang.
Right, don't bang on mama's piano.
Right. So this particular night, I thought I was dreaming, and I was playing my dad's favorite song. It was called Just Like He Said He Would. And the next day, my mom was like, I thought I heard somebody on my piano. And I was thinking, like, I dreamed that last night, right? And in all actuality, I was actually playing it, and I played that song for like 6 months. And back then, you know, it was in the 80s or whatever, and he bought me a cassette tape player.
Okay.
And I started listening to it, and that's how I started playing. So I play by ear.
Wow. So, of course, I have to know that you were assigned to go play in church, right?
Of course.
Of course. So what was that experience like? I mean, we've had a lot of PKs on the show who talk about the ups and sort of the trials of being the child of a pastor, right?
Right.
What was that like for you, especially when you got this really forward-facing position of now being a musician in the church?
Well, I started off playing violin every Sunday because my mom was the piano player.
Okay.
But they had a lot of expectations. You know, of course, preachers want their children to be, per se, better than all the rest of the children in the church because they want you to sit on the front row and you got to follow all the rules.
Right,
and
crossing at the ankles, sit up straight, pay attention, don't fall asleep.
I always tell people, my dad could look at me from the pulpit and I would start crying, and I don't even know what I did. Like, he was just that strict. But guess he wasn't strict enough, right? But I think I was slick. He was just strict. I was slick.
You were slick.
Yeah.
Explain, because you got frustrated. You felt like you wanted more. You wanted to have more things, right? Every kid wants their parents to buy them more.
Right.
But you took that and made a whole other set of choices.
Right.
Explain.
Because being a Methodist preacher, you know, we have all these different denominations. And so my dad was an AME preacher, and they were really, really strict, and we had a lot of rules.
Right.
So we either lived behind the church or on the side of the church. And it was always like a shotgun house where you could see through from the front door to the back door. And my dad, even though although he worked a real job, it still didn't make ends meet. So the church people would always help us with our bills, and I saw that, and I didn't like that.
That didn't feel good, right?
No.
Because you already got the pressure of being the kid who's the pastor's kid.
Right.
But now you know that the church has to help.
Right.
And we should point out, I know we're talking about very sensitive things about your father. Your father is no longer with us.
Right.
And obviously you love this man with all of your heart.
Yes.
But these are the frustrations of a child we're talking about, right? Very handsome fellow here. Let's talk about what you decided you were going to do. How old were you when you said, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to make my own money?
16.
And what did you do?
I started selling drugs.
How did you even know where to begin?
I didn't know where to begin. I actually went to a party with my brother. My dad had 3 older sons.
Okay.
And I don't know, you didn't mention, but my mom was 14 years younger than my dad. So he was raising my brothers and my mom together. So every time my dad would let my brother use the car, he was like, oh, you got to take Chucky with you. That's my nickname.
Okay.
So like, you have to take her with you. That's the only way you're using my car.
Right.
And we go to this backyard party 30 miles away, back to the babysitter's house, because we moved away.
Okay.
And so my brother left me and went with a girl, and he never came back. So I didn't have a ride. I didn't have a ride home. So I
have to believe your father did not know that your brother,
No, oh no.
that
no, he didn't
his
know.
brother was taking Chucky to a party.
No,
So,
my dad let us go to the party because he was friends with the babysitter.
gotcha. Okay. Okay.
And my brother left, so I ended up getting a ride with the babysitter's grandson, who was much older than I. And he had a Mercedes. That was the first time in my life I'd ever seen a Mercedes.
And what did you find out about how he had that Mercedes?
Well, his cousin was my best friend, and she was like, "Oh, he sells drugs." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But he ended up giving me a ride home. So he taking me back to the country. On his way there, he had people that worked actually sold drugs for him in the little country town where we live.
So did you become one of those?
Yes.
You started working for him?
Yes.
And he taught you how to do this? Like, what were you selling?
Cocaine.
That's heavy.
It is.
That's heavy. Out the gate
Carries a
at
lot of
16?
time. Yes.
So at some point you ended up hiding some drugs in your father's
Car. In the trunk of his car.
Tell me about that decision. And because your father had no idea?
No, I think, people would say it. Like, one time the police came to the house and they were looking for Chucky. But they thought I was a boy because my name was Chucky.
Was your daddy there when
He was there. And my mama was there. My mama was...
So they
She
had
knew.
this.
No, she knew. She was like, "Oh, I know she doing something," because she never gave me the benefit of the doubt. But my dad was like, he kind of figured it, but he wouldn't accept it. I'll just say it like that. I don't think he accepted it.
But he had to accept it when he got arrested.
He
right?
accepted it because he said verbally, those are my drugs. I'm taking the charge.
So they found drugs. I want to make sure I get this right. Police found the drugs in your father's car.
Right.
Right.
But they were coming to get me anyways.
Gotcha.
Right.
And so instead, he was not arrested until he basically said it was me.
Right. We
not
were
my
both
dog.
detained and they were searching the house. I was 7 months pregnant with my son who's now deceased. So my dad looks at me, he had tears in his eyes, and he was like, he just shook his head and he looked at the police and he says, "Those are my drugs." He didn't mention the word taking the charge. He just said, "Those are my drugs."
How did you feel when you heard your father say that to the police, knowing that this was about to change the course of his whole life?
Well, I just told you I thought I was so smart. I always thought I was the smartest, the brightest apple on the tree. So I figured he's taking this charge because he knows he can get out for it.
So you didn't even really feel too bad about
Because
it? Like
I
you thought
he
they
was
going
never
to get...
going to prison. I just thought they were going to give him probation or something.
So when
and he
you-
thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And they
That
didn't
far,
really.
far, far from what happened.
Far from
How much
it.
time did your father end up serving for you?
7 to 8 years on a 15-year sentence, state time.
When he was sentenced, were you there in court?
Yes.
How did that feel?
Didn't feel good at all. I actually tried to go back and take my own charge, but the judge was like, "No, they're not." They just wanted to make an example out of me anyway because they knew my time was coming. My mom divorced him because she said he loved me more than he loved her, and ended up marrying the deacon in the church. So
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a
We're gonna pause right here because I know this is a lot to even go through, and I know it's hard. So we're gonna take a break right now. More with Letitia and how she turned all this pain into some purpose and to doing some great things in the community. That story continues after the break.